Hello and good afternoon everybody. In this video, I will be explaining my research outline with the topic being visual-based teaching strategy supporting listening comprehension. Without further ado, let's begin. Let's start with the background first. So, listening is one of the most important skills of learning. In an academic context, university students must understand the information given through presentations and oral explanations, especially as an English major. However, some students struggle to understand fast speeches, unfamiliar vocabularies, and different accents. Listening exercises usually relies on audio or written transcripts, such as presentations, video animations, and gesture support listening activities. These learning methods act as a cues and context to help students process the information given. Despite the common use of visual materials in classrooms, a little research has explored how visual-based teaching specifically aids listening comprehension in English for academic purposes, or EFAP, settings compared to traditional audio-only methods. So, this research aims to tackle this gap by examining the role of visual-based teaching strategies in listening classes. Now, for the next slides, that is the research problem, I will be answering three questions. The first question is, what are the tools and supporting strategies used by the teachers to support listening skills and comprehension in a classroom? The second one is, how do visual-based teaching strategies affect students' listening performance and understanding during listening activities? Last but not least, why do visual-based teaching strategies support students' listening comprehension from the learner's perspectives? Now for the next slide, it will be the research method, and I chose the qualitative research approach with a case study design. Basically to explore how visual-based teaching strategies support listening comprehension in a classroom. The reason why I chose this is because the research aims to understand learners' experiences, perceptions, and interactions with visual learning as strategies in context, which in my opinion are the best captured through rich descriptive data rather than numerical measurement. Now for the settings that I've used and also the participants are the university students listening classes at a higher education institution where visual materials are regularly integrated into listening instructions. The participants include such as EFAP students who are actively engaged in listening activities that utilizes visual cues, for example like videos, slides, charts, and other medias. And then the second one will be the EFAP instructor, whose teaching practice and use of visual strategies will also be considered through the observations. For the next slide, I will be discussing about the data collection of this observation. So the first one is the classroom observations. Now, the observations are conducted over several weeks during regular EFAP listening lessons. The second one is the focus of how the instructor integrates visual elements like videos, diagrams, slides, and charts to support listening comprehension. The third one, field notes are also recorded for capturing instructional interactions, responses, or maybe types of visuals used relative to listening tasks, and to observe the student engagement. And also, previous research emphasizes that multimedia and audiovisual inputs can enhance comprehension by providing learners with contextual cues and reducing the cognitive load of interpreting spoken language alone. Now for the second one is the semi-structured interviews with the students. Now the first point is the individuals and small groups interviews are conducted to explore the students' understanding and perceptions or maybe experiences regarding the visual-based strategies in listening activities. Now the second one is the student is given questions by the researchers to activate their knowledge through visuals and advantages and also disadvantages to reflect how visuals kind of affect their ability to understand spoken English language. Now the third one, is the semi-structured interviews blend consistency through predetermined guiding questions with flexibility, allowing deeper follow-up responses and richer data. And also, research suggests that student perceptions of audiovisual materials often reveal enhanced motivation and engagement, which maybe can influence listening comprehension's outcomes. Now, for the documents used and materials analyzed, is that the first point is all visual teaching materials used in listening instructions are collected, including lesson plans, PowerPoint slides, worksheets, graphics, and any annotated media scripts. The second one is the documents are examined to understand the design, the visuals used, and the alignment within the listening activities, and also how visuals are intended to scaffold comprehension. The third one is the document analysis enables the researcher to contextualize classroom practices and compare actual instructions with participants' reported perceptions. Now, all collected data, observation notes, interviews, transcripts, and documents are securely stored and anonymized to protect the participants' identities. Now, for the data collection, informed consent is obtained from all participants, including explanation of the purpose of the study, the voluntary participation and anticipation, and also ensures the confidentiality of the students. Now, for the data analysis, will be included the transcription, coding, theme development, and integration and interpretation. For the transcription, interview recordings and detailed observations are transcribed verbatim. And the second one is the transcripts are reviewed repeatedly to ensure accuracy and immersion in the data. Next one is coding. The initial codes are generated based on recurring ideas, patterns, and meaningful units to relate to the visual strategies and listening comprehension. Codes may include themes such as visual support for vocabulary comprehension, cognitive scaffolding, locus of student intention, and perceived clarity and learner effect. The third one is the theme development. Codes are clustered into broader themes that provide interpretive insight into how visual strategies influence listening processes. The themes that reflect both are the experiences of learners and instructional practices of the teacher. The fourth one and last one is the integration and interpretation. Themes are interpreted in light of existing literature on audio-visual learning and listening comprehension, supporting the research argument and contributing to theoretical and pedagogical understanding. Now, this triangulation of data sources such as observations, interviews, and materials enhances the study's credibility by confirming the patterns across multiple contexts and perspectives. Members presenting thematic summaries to participants for confirmation further strengthens validity. Now, a qualitative research design is particularly suitable for this study because it emphasizes context, meaning, and interpretation rather than a generalization. This approach allows the researcher to explore in depth how visual-based teaching strategies are applied and experienced in real classroom environments. Previous qualitative studies on audio-visual learning have shown that multimedia-based instruction can reveal important insights into learner engagement and listening comprehension that cannot be fully captured through quantitative methods alone. In this study, the expected results suggest that visual-based teaching strategies play an important role in supporting students' listening comprehension. For the EFAP classrooms, visual elements like videos, images, slides, and other resources are expected to help students better understand spoken academic material. It is also anticipated that students will also show higher levels of engagement and attention when visual materials are used in the listening task. Visual support may help reduce listening anxiety and cognitive load, which are common challenges in the listening academic, especially for the students that are exposed to complex, fast speeches. From the student's perspective, visual-based teaching strategies are expected to be perceived as an improvement in their understanding of lectures for the spoken explanation. This is particularly relevant when students encounter unfamiliar vocabulary, complex sentences, or maybe fast and rapid speech. Now, overall, the findings of this study are expected to provide practical insights for EFAP instructors on how to effectively integrate visual-based teaching strategies, especially in the listening lessons. Now, for the conclusion, is that this study examines the role of visual-based teaching strategies in supporting listening comprehension for English academic purposes, or EFAP. Listening is a crucial skill for university students, particularly in an academic setting where they are required to understand the lecture presentations and spoken explanation given using English language. However, many learners face challenges like a limited vocabulary, or maybe a fast speech or an unfamiliar accent. Now, using qualitative case study design, this research aims to provide an in-depth understanding of how visual elements such as videos, slides, diagrams, and other multimedia resources are used in listening instruction. The data collected here through classroom observations, semi-structured interviews, and document analysis is to capture the students' perceptions, teaching practices, and the pedagogical roles of visual-based strategies. Rather than measuring effectiveness through numerical data, this study focuses on understanding how and why visual strategies help students comprehend spoken academic input. Now, these findings are expected to address existing research gaps and offer practical insights for EFAP instructions on integrating visual materials more effectively. That's it for today. Thank you for listening. Good afternoon and goodbye, everyone.